Hey, go check out our website down the bottom. There it is, CarolinaBallisticsTA.net. You can sign up for classes, check out our merchandise, or see what we're all about. Enjoy the podcast.
Hello, good morning, good evening, what's up? Wherever in the world that you are, we are happy that you're with us. You could have been anywhere in the world that you could have been at this moment, but you decided to be with us, and we appreciate that, guys. We have an exciting show for you guys today. My name is Daniel Irwin. This is my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. David Harris.
What's up, what's up, what's up?
We are Carolina Ballistics and Training Academy. Guys, today's theme for today's show is going to be naturally unlocking the mind. And we have two professionals in this field, a Mr. Dante Thomas.
Hello, how are you guys doing? I'm Dante Thomas, holistic practitioner, Firm Ground Enterprises.
And we have a Mr. Tank Tyler.
Peace, love, everyone. Tank Tyler, former NFL, retired, natural healing and holistic wealth.
Awesome.
Wealth is health.
Awesome. So this is going to be a really exciting show we got today, guys. We're going to be covering the subject of mental health. So one of the biggest conversations that a lot of people have in connection with whom should own firearms, why they shouldn't own firearms in the event that they get a firearm. People with mental health could be a potential problem. So we're going to take that subject head on. All right. Us in the two-way community are going to address mental health and addressing it not from necessarily a pharmaceutical perspective, but from a holistic, natural perspective. All right. So, real quick, let's do some introductions. Dante, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, I'm board certified holistic practitioner. I've been in the mental health field for about 12 to 15 years, and I've been in the nutrition and holistic field approximately 10 years. My biggest thing is seeing how different things with the naturopathic side coincide with the different ways that mental health people act. So with that being said, I never like to go off on a tangent about me. It's about trying to get the best product for the people that we're treating.
I love it. And Mr. Tank, tell our audience a little bit about yourself.
Like I said, I'm a former football player, so most of my life has been with dealing with weight and health, speed, agility, and the mental state of the mind. So once I was done with that, I had to concentrate on myself and my health more, and I ended up dealing with some issues that I became familiar with in the natural healing world. So
I think the big question that a lot of people have is why are so many people skeptical in connection with holistic medicine, a natural approach to health?
Because it's switching the paradigm.
Yeah.
We're taught that you get sick, you go to a doctor, the doctor treats the reactive cause.
Yeah.
When you're dealing with naturopathic medicine, it's pre-existing conditions. Like you might not have the condition yet, but you're eating what you put into your body's going to get out of it. But we're pushing so much in 6 meals a day, back to back, 6 to 8 meals a day. You have to eat breakfast, you have to eat lunch, you have to eat dinner. When sometimes that might be overworking your body, but that's going against everything the Food and Drug Administration tells us.
Yeah.
So my question would be, do you think it's a little bit with money a money grab? Because if what I hear you saying is we're being proactive instead of reactive.
Yes.
And the healthcare system is more reactive.
Yes.
Because it's more money and you already being sick and now I'm treating it.
Don't ask yourself this question: why are doctors not nutritionists? Naturopathic practitioners are nutrition counselors first.
Because I was going to say I don't know the answer to that question.
No.
Yeah.
So if you're putting in good stuff to your body, right, you're less apt to have certain diseases because you're not pushing your body into acidic behaviors.
Yeah.
Once you push your body into acidic behaviors, that's when disease starts cultivating itself in your body.
Okay.
Wow.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
As far as why the people are a little skeptical about natural healing other than the conventional medicine, we've been fed, conventional medicine or pharmaceuticals since we, were born.
Yeah.
And so we only know of aunties, some grandmothers that had maybe aloe vera or some things, growing up that we was like, oh, okay. And then some stories were around that, they're doing evil stuff if they,
Demonized.
Right,
Yeah.
demonizing, herbs and natural medicines and stuff like that. So on all ends of the spectrum, you were getting hit with, go the pharmaceutical way and not go the holistic way, and not try that really.
I think along with your thought, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think like there's a certain generation of our family or in our community that views like going to the doctor. Like if you don't go to the doctor, you are trying to die. You are actively trying to die.
But in the same token, there was always been naturopathic doctors.
Oh, yeah.
There wasn't schools. They were called root doctors.
Yeah.
So you call it a root. Then all of a sudden it gets misconstrued. This is voodoo.
Yeah.
So they demonized it.
No.
So then people are more like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to eat what I want. And then next thing you know, the stuff that we were used to eating, now all of a sudden I'm not eating that rabbit food.
Yeah.
So my question then becomes, and it's a question on the lifespan of humans as we become longer and longer and longer. We live long. We become 82 now, but back in the day it was 56. Before that, 30s. Well, obviously the person in his 30s don't need as much medicine as a person in his 80s. So do you think maybe we just haven't had enough time to let that catch up, like the natural ways of going about helping unlocking your body and helping those ways? Or maybe that's why those medicines might be used. It's not saying we just haven't had the time for that side to catch up.
But look at it like this too, though. Now you have more people who they're in facilities.
Yeah.
At an older age. They didn't have as many facilities back then.
Well, younger too.
Yeah,
We have
younger.
a lot of younger kids.
And if you look at one common theme from a lot of people in facilities is the way that the curvature in their spine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think about it. Like, and that's just a breathing technique.
Yeah.
Wow.
Breathing in yoga. That's what that is, because that's your brain stems back there.
Yeah.
So if you're not keeping yourself straight up, that's the one thing whenever I work with someone who's a fighter,
Yeah.
I tell them to do yoga on the back end, because you're naturally covering your heart. You're blocking your heart. When you're blocking your heart, you're disconnecting. That's your heart chakra. That's your throat chakra. That's your third eye, your pineal, which produces melatonin, and that's your crown.
Okay.
Interesting.
So whenever that's why, and a lot of people, the thing that made this real crazy to me is a lot of people, they run, because a lot of times what ends up happening too is when you start doing that, you notice most of those people are up during the nighttime
Yeah.
because they're not fasting. Fasting is not only the food that you're fasting. From 9 to 11, it's called your triple cardium. From 11 to 1, that's your gallbladder fasting. From 1 to 3 is your liver fasting. 3 to 5 is your lungs. At 5 to 7 is full elimination. That's your stomach. So if you're not fasting, what's happening? You're pushing your body into what? Acidic behaviors.
Wow. Now let's dabble into that. Acidic behaviors. First, let's define that. What is that?
So your body has a pH, and you try to keep it around neutral. It's around 7. You try to keep it around neutral. When it drops down about 3.54, that's when cancer cells start multiplying at a fast rate.
Wow.
You don't want it to go too high either, because you don't want to be in complete alkaline. That's where lye and stuff lives. So you have acidity in your body, and then you have it in your mouth too.
Very interesting. Very interesting. Were you about to say something?
No, I was just going to agree with what he was saying with the, the body. If you go back to Dr. Sebi, he was a steam engineer, and he learned acidity and alkalinity from working the steam engine, and so he realized if it's any alkalinity inside of the pipes, then there would be life form. And so if it's acid, then everything dies. So they had to keep it at a certain pH level.
Oh, wow.
He learned about pH, and so he applied that to plants.
Wow.
And that was the difference in between a lot of the natural herbs that people used and the herbs that he used, and the herbs that healed people, and the herbs that were kind of genetically modified and wasn't alkaline.
Wow.
Meaning at a high pH level instead of acidic.
Wow.
Even the music we listen to can mess with our acidity level. So if you take a plant and you put calming music, you'll see the plant go upright. If you play a lot of, and I hate to say it because I'm trying not to be too hard on it, but a lot of new age rap, the plants start going like this.
Oh, wow.
And it start leaning down.
I heard something about that in connection with like plants reacting to the environment that it's in. The music, even the temperament of the household. So like if the household is like really, really dark, then like the plants will be affected.
Yeah.
Like that's an actual thing.
Did you know that if there's a sickness coming to your area, every herb that your body needs grows in that area 3 months, approximately. I'm not gonna say 3 months exactly, approximately 3 months before the sickness comes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it starts growing in that area.
So the earth is trying to help you get ahead of it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
In fact of what he's saying, I found mullein back in, this was like 2019. And,
Right before COVID. And mullein opens up your lungs.
Absolutely.
Look at that.
Wow.
Yep. Mullein opens.
COVID is a respiratory.
You can even smoke mullein and it'll clean your lungs.
Wow. Wow.
Mullein and nettle root clears out the mucus in your system.
Wow.
A body can't be in acidity without mucus.
So we said, when your body's out, your pH levels are off. That's the simple way of saying everything you said to me. It's a pH level. So when my pH levels are off, right? Does that have any effect on my mind, like mentally?
It will. So what ends up happening is not just your body, body's gonna go through it, your gut, and then you have gut to brain health.
Wow. Okay.
So then as you're digesting, I don't know if you're eating a lot of sugars.
Yeah.
So a lot of sugars will produce more aggressive behaviors. Aggressive behaviors then, because the sugar triggers the mind, like a drug.
Okay.
So then what you're eating, that's why I always urge people to drink water. If you're not going to eat right, at least drink enough water.
Yeah.
Because you're going to flush the system.
I think like as a society in connection with how we view like for mental health in the body, like I feel like we address it as if they're two different entities. Like your food doesn't affect your brain.
No, that's the reason why I say they split the paradigm. Like it's this and then it's this.
Yeah.
Because you need 7 sources of income to be rich, right?
Yeah.
If that's one source of income, your nutrition.
Okay.
You're taking away.
That sounds like a conversation about like the pharmaceutical company and how it kind of like diversifies its income as a way.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it is.
Wow.
So if you're eating what you're supposed to eat, right? it's gonna block a lot of stuff because it takes the herb. Now, if it's chronic, that's a whole different story. Then you need Western style medicine, and once it's chronic. But if you could catch it on the front end, and you're doing it on the front end, it's not gonna do damage to your liver if they're treating you. So then, and you do damage to the liver, then you have a myriad of other problems.
Yeah.
Because then everything autoimmune is gonna kick in. Like, why do you eat cheese? Why would you eat cheese or drink dairy?
Wow.
Why? At any point in life, why? It creates more mucus in the body. Anything that says itis inflames with dairy.
Wow.
And dealing with the mental state, a lot of the mainstream hospitals, doctors, they don't deal with it at a cellular level. They'll maybe take blood, but then they would say that it's either you're born with, autism, or it's hereditary, and most kids are coming, 2-3 years old. They can form autism and all these type of things, But when we go back to the cellular level, you have cells that, T cells operate as like a police in the body. And anything that is foreign, it goes and attack it and make sure that it gets rid of it. So if your T cells are not operating correctly, then you can have sickle cell or hepatitis or a lot of these autoimmune diseases that are not getting fought off quickly. And then you're inviting a lot of diseases into your body. So cleansing the cells in return helps the body weight, the health of the body, the mental state of the nervous system, because you're cleaning the blood cells. And when you were talking about earlier, I think it was with gunfire and metals, lead levels, heavy metals.
Yeah.
And so there are herbs and ways to cleanse heavy metals from the body, because metals are in almost everything that we partake, everything that we eat, especially fish. There's heavy mercury inside of fish. There's aluminum, all even in some of our vegetables, because the farmers, if you do some studies, they have been complaining for years about aluminum and mercury being sprayed along with fertilizer on their fields. And so all of us are taking in metals, whether we want to or not. And then some of us are taking in extra metals because of the pharmaceuticals and other, foods that are heavy in metals. And so a cellular cleanse is needed throughout everyone. And so that would be say we all have mental issues. Because we all have metal inside of our body.
High levels.
High levels of metal inside of our body. And so
what common foods or nutrients do y'all know that a person could take to get some of those lead levels out of their body?
I know one thing that you could do on top of just ingesting, sea moss, of course. Sea moss is a great one because it kills, like he said, the T cells and the phagocytes that go to the affected areas. It attaches itself around the scavenger free radicals and throws them out of whack because it helps strengthen the body. Another strong thing you could do is jump on a trampoline.
Oh wow, really?
Bounce on a trampoline for about 20 minutes, approximately 20 minutes a day. It revitalizes your lymphatic system. Wow. It cleanses it. So, and if you know anything, when you're excreting the levels, a lot of times it'll come out your lymphatic system.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible.
So I have, I guess, two questions, because what I'm hearing is basically you want to perform like a Ferrari, don't put low gas in your tank.
You don't want to put 87 in your
perform like a Ferrari and like buy high premium gas and put it into the body. Right? So my next question becomes like, because you said something about children when you were talking just recently about cleansing and everything. And I've noticed, maybe I could be way off, but it seems to me now more children are taking meds at a younger age. So, and more kids are even having more. And I credit it to social media to a certain degree why kids are having so many issues. But I'm like, now it seems like every kid is ADHD this, and this kid has that, and this kid is taking meds for this. And I'm like, when I was a kid, I don't remember it being this way.
Not just that. Remember how I was telling you about paragenetics?
Yeah.
Like what your.
Can you explain that again for everyone?
So if your parents or your grandparents did something, the grandkids are more apt to have a problem from what they did. So that is a direct cause of your micronutrients. The micronutrients are your minerals, your vitamins, and your water. So a lot of times they'll sell them as immune boosters, but almost everybody is iron deficient.
So just so that the audience is clear, what exactly are micronutrients?
It's like your minerals, like I was saying with your sea moss, your minerals that your body has in it.
Is it something that you can get at a grocery store, or?
Yeah, it's in your foods.
Yeah.
Micronutrients.
So mainly, like what he's trying to say, the greens that our parents always taught us to eat growing up used to have more minerals than they do now. Going with nature and us, like he's saying, when we're born, we're some of us are vitamin D deficient. All of us are iron deficient. So we're mineral deficient when we're born, and so are the crops becoming mineral deficient. And so the most minerals abide in the ocean. That's why sea moss, spirulina, kelp, and all it, because the most oxygen in the earth comes from the ocean. 85% of the oxygen. So oxygen in the body cleans the blood cells.
Okay.
And
Interesting.
these foods are electrical and they're oxygen. So these are the most powerful things to put in your body to clean micro and nanoparticles.
Okay.
And going back to micro minerals, you got micro metal, these are microparticles. You know, nanoparticles, a lot of the stuff that's in the air. And then so the same thing that is in our body, the same thing that we use to fight it. You know, micro minerals, sea moss, kelp, spirulina, you know, these type of things. Bladderwrack.
Chlorella, yeah.
Wow, wow, incredible. So, can we use natural remedies in connection with dealing with mental illness?
Yes.
Expand on that.
So, not just sitting there, and it has to be something that's formulated with what they're eating and the way that people are working out on a daily activity basis too. So there's a valerian root that calms your neuroreceptors. Valerian root, and there's also, people don't understand, there's always a female and male herb. Like ashwagandha helps calm your neuroreceptors too, but if it's in women, it might make them bleed heavier. The female herb for a woman would be astragalus. So you just be cognizant of what stage of life you're in too. There's different stages. Like you could be what's called a pitta, which means you're fiery, you're more fiery. Then if you're a vata, you could be limbs a little longer. If you're a kapha, you're cooler. But you got to know whether or not what stage of life you're in.
Explain that kapha, and go ahead.
Kapha, you're more of a cool, laid back type.
So it's a personality type.
Yeah, more personality type. It has a few other things with it, but I don't have time to like go with it today.
So what about using micronutrients to address schizophrenia, bipolarism, and other mental illnesses? Because one thing that is, I think we've all have acknowledged, especially me, is that people have become more anxious. People are suffering from anxiety more than ever in human history. So, in fact, one number was put out that 1 in 5 people experience from some sort of anxiety disorder. Are there any holistic approaches that we can address anxiety?
I'm gonna tell you 3 of them right now. 3 things, and I'm not saying that this is for everybody, but I'm saying this is what I would recommend if someone would come to me. First of all, you need to learn how to control your breathing. You need to learn how, because when you go like this and you tense
Tighten
up,
up.
you're already becoming in an anxious state. Number two, your sleep. How many hours are you sleeping? Like I was saying, the fasting period. Your body needs to fully fast. You need to rest on them times. It would actually help you with your anxiety during the day.
Wow.
Number three, elimination of sugars, processed sugars. There's monk fruit you can use. You have lacuma and you have yacome. You have turbinate. There's different sweeteners you can use without using sugar.
Okay.
Sugar, like Tank was saying earlier, with everything going on in the body, and the T cells, they're used to fight stuff off. You're putting them at a deficiency when you're using high levels of sugar.
Okay.
Right. Like you were saying with, it wasn't like this back in the days
Yeah.
when we were, how old are you?
Oh, I'm 40.
40, okay. We're all around the same age. And when we were growing up, the word retarded now is a banned word, but this is what, we saw a person and we knew that person were handicapped. But today, if I saw you back when we were 7, 8 years old, I would know for sure you were a regular person.
Yeah.
Not saying that they're not regular people, but we knew that they had a handicap.
Yeah, disability.
But today, the kids, they look normal.
Yeah.
And they're disabled.
Yeah.
And
you would never know.
And you would never know. So it's a difference now. It wasn't like that when we were growing up.
Yeah.
And so the key, one of the keys is addressing the roots of what is going on, seeing a change. It's a change. It's a huge change that's happened from generation. This new generation is witnessing what he said, 1 in 5. It may be 1 in 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's so many young people that have autism and people, period, that have anxiety and depression.
Yeah.
And so one of the huge changes is the amount of metal that has been going into our bodies.
Yeah.
The children and the shots that they take now compared to the shots that we took back when we were in school.
Yeah.
The amount of metal that's inside of that.
Okay.
The amount of metal that's inside of our foods. The things that's inside of our foods.
Yeah.
We 9 out of 10 of us don't look at ingredients when we eat things or when we drink things. And there's carcinogens heavy inside of our foods today.
True.
Yeah.
And you could be eating something that says light, simply diet, or free range of anything, and you still have a yellow dye, a red lake, a blue dye up in there.
True.
That is, if none of us even read the ingredients, so who's going to do the research on what a red lake or a yellow dye is?
True.
You know what I'm saying? Or heme inside of a Impossible Burger.
True.
So,
Or even to piggyback off of what he's saying, like if it's under 500 milligrams of trans fats, they don't even have to label it.
Wow.
Oh.
So there's some stuff, if there's under a certain level, they don't even have to put it on the thing. It can say, what is it called? Proprietary blends.
Yeah, they passed, it was a few years ago, they passed a law where they can basically lie on their product.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I want to.
And another thing, I'm sorry, I just want to put why it's fresh on the mind. Another thing that's becoming a big thing now, and it's going to be even bigger in the future, is already a $1 billion industry, is crickets. So this is why it's important to look at your ingredients, because now cricket protein, and this is where you get into where these words that the farms made up, protein and calories and such, to make certain things sound nutritious. So now crickets are protein, but it's been so many studies about crickets, naturally, common sensely, we wouldn't eat crickets.
Nah.
You know what I mean? But there has been studies, because people do eat crickets, China and other places, on the human body, on what this does to the body.
Yeah.
But in a lot of products right now, we have crickets. And some labels put it on there. There's chocolate chip cookies that has crickets on it right now. So,
Wow.
What is it? Fruit punch got beetles?
Oh, wow.
well, most of I think it's called a Coachella bug.
Yeah.
And it's grown on that aloe vera cactus.
Yeah.
Well, it's a cactus, not aloe vera, that grows that kind of purple bulb on the top, and those little white bugs that's on it. Those are Coachella bugs, and that's a lot of the juice that's on top of the meat that's in the stores.
Wow.
That's also used in M&Ms and Skittles.
Okay.
And a lot of more candies.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we've been eating Beetlejuice for a long time.
Don't say that.
So I want to make sure, because I want to separate the two a little bit, and like some mental illnesses, we can't, like, you just born with it, and that's going to be like, it can't be really solved with a way to fix it. And then I guess I'm going to hit it, and we'll form more into a PTSD, anxiety, adjustment disorders, those things. And from my experience, tell me if I'm wrong, like, you go through an experience. So you start at 100%, you go through experience, and now you flight or flight response kicked in. So now your 100% went down to here. And no matter what, you can never get back to like the top level. So what are people that have been through, like, seeing, and I'm coming from a military point of view from it, but you got women that's been abused, children that have seen that, people that have seen their friends be shot, killed. Like, those are all effects that we don't talk about as PTSD. And the symptoms could be anything from this kid reacting violently at school to him becoming withdrawn, or her. And then, like, I would say, I think bullying to a certain degree, in my opinion, is kind of necessary. But excessive bullying with the internet now has got a lot of kids mentally going into like a depression state. So how do we attack that holistically?
Okay, so
Is there a way?
So, I know I'm gonna go on a limb with this one because Lord knows. You ever hear microdosing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the reason why they're doing clinical studies of microdosing in hospitals now. When you microdose, what it does is it takes you back to before the trauma became a traumatic.
Okay.
And it's resetting the body back to that point. So then everything that happened from that point forward, your body does not see it as trauma anymore.
Okay.
Explain what microdosing is.
They take a little bit of mushrooms
Okay.
and they give you the mushroom and you have someone talk you out of your trip.
Oh, man.
Oh, so they're doing psychedelic stuff.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Like when the CIA did. Well, let's not say they did.
Allegedly. Allegedly. The CIA.
The LSD trial. Yeah, allegedly.
If I ask you, what plant is closest to our DNA as humans, what do you think it would be?
Think about it.
Marijuana.
Think about what he's telling you.
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
Yeah.
The whole story of Rudolph was, my teacher told me, Dr. Amsu, it was a story about mushrooms. Rudolph with his nose so bright, in that area where the story was written, there was a form of mushrooms that grew, it was red. And Rudolph stuck his nose in it.
Oh, man.
I was gonna say a different surplus.
No, but that's
I would have gone in a different direction.
and by any means, I'm looking at the camera. By any means, I'm not urging anyone to use drugs. But what I'm saying is, God put everything on this earth for a reason.
Absolutely.
We pervert it.
Right.
As men, we pervert it.
Manipulate it.
This was all put on the earth for medicine. We have our medicine. The biggest thing I hear from people, wow, how is that going to help me? I'm gonna go over and get this pill. On the back of the pill, my good brother, they just ripped the extract out of 5 different herbs and they made they. You know what I mean? They
broke it down.
Yeah, they broke it
Message.
down, and then they put it in synthetic form.
Yeah.
And when you put it in synthetic form, it spins the opposite way of your DNA strand.
Wow.
That's why it's only meant to suppress.
And most
Got it.
pills we get from the pharmaceutical companies, they all have hardcore side effects.
That's because no. That's like if you go kill an animal, right? And you're not blessing the animal and you're not making it feel in that welcome space, all of a sudden you're slaughtering the animal. Next thing you know, you pick up that anxious behavior from the animal you just ate. So that right there creates more anxiety in the society.
Oh, wow.
That's why there's certain stores called halal stores where they bless the meat, cut it, and then you eat it the way you were supposed to. Why you think back in the day they would eat the other king's heart? Bravery.
I was gonna say the Mayans did it so they could take the power of their
Power.
Yeah.
But
Power.
that you also get the same concept when you kill an animal, you're slaughtering it. You're not really raising it the way it's supposed to be raised. This animal's eating whatever now.
Yeah.
And then you're taking that and putting it into your body.
I think that's been an ongoing discussion in connection with, I guess my wife likes to get chicken that's from farms that treat the chickens well.
Yeah.
And I guess that in essence is for that reason.
There's always a saying, but we just overlook it because it became colloquialism. Like you are what you eat.
Okay, so I'm gonna take it in a different direction a little bit.
I kinda
So,
do
as a community, as an African American community, right? And I'm looking at it and I'll break it into threes, right? You got husband, wife, children, right? Well, if all of us are already having more metals in our body, all of us are already having mental issues at some way, shape, or form, and we eliminate the man as a pillar, right? And now, how many more mental issues and press and stress are we putting on these two? And all those things that are now being played. And you don't even need to be African American or as a community. And what do we look at? 80% of people are single parent households now. So that's a lot of stress on that child and that parent by themselves. And a lot of stress on the father if he's in their person's life or not in that life, how he's dealing with things. And I think it's hard press, and especially with society going so fast, so hard, so much, everything now, gotta go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We live in a microwave society.
Oh, yeah.
So the thing was, and I know this is probably not gonna make a lot of people happy when I say this, but I don't care. So it is what it is. When the Black Panthers made the free lunch program, it was to help the kids in the area, or the black kids in the area. So the Democrats who were in office at that time, what they did was they copied the whole plan. Some say they bought it from the Black Panthers. They copied the whole plan, but in order for you to get the free lunch program, the man had to be removed from the house.
Yeah. And that's the whole argument in connection with, what welfare did to the African American community.
Yeah, it's like if I teach my son how to run, right, but then I take him and cut his legs off and sit him in a chair and say run.
Yeah.
That's what I just did.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys, let's go ahead and start closing this out. Last thing, let's cover up what you guys got going on. Let's start off with you, Dante. What you got going on and you want to share with the community?
So at this point, I'm working with people when it comes to holistic health, and I would like to link up with Tank on the House of Health. I work with in Winston. I work with A&S Herbs. What I do is I try to come up with a protocol, recommendations, because in North Carolina I'm not allowed to prescribe, but recommendations on what you can do to help your body get back to a neutral pH. I also work with a lot of athletes. I intend to, go off and start writing a book at some point, because I feel like my journey is a journey that I want to share with people.
I dig it.
That's awesome.
If you could leave a thought with our audience from Dante Thomas, what would it be?
My thought would be, don't listen to everything that you hear always check, double check, and then try for yourself. Well, and I say this because even though me and Tank are very knowledgeable in holistic medicine right here, I still want you to do the research because your body might call for something different. If your body calls for something different, then you need to get in touch with a professional like one of us too, because there's a get rich quick scheme in the United States. It's always a microwave society. Oh, this person did keto, they lost 100 pounds, so I'm gonna do keto. What if you don't have a gallbladder? How are you gonna do keto? Then you're not digesting your fats. So everybody's nutrition, it should be like your DNA. Each person should have a different nutrition plan. So if someone tells me, oh, this person did that, or if I hear more than 2 people on the same nutrition plan, I know there's something going on. There's a big kick to remove gluten. I don't believe anybody should eat gluten. I believe that gluten is one of the worst things you can eat, but I believe that it's not just gluten. Gluten introduces other things into the system. Like once you start eating gluten, you have stuff in your stomach called your villi. It rubs out all the bad stuff.
Wow.
And when gluten wedges in between, it opens it up, so then the sugars go up into your bloodstream. Once the sugar goes up into your bloodstream, it makes your heart start fluttering.
Wow.
Because it's a 4-strand amino.
Wow.
Then you can't process sugar at all. Then you start getting knee issues, elbow issues, and a myriad of other issues.
Wow.
That's my one thing I would say.
Wow.
That's more than one thing, but
Yeah.
but I had to say it.
A couple of things.
I had to say it.
All right, Tank. What you got going on?
Just helping as I can, lending a hand and sharing my story, sharing my path, and sharing what I've been blessed with. And what I've been blessed with is insight on where we come from, the things that we come from, which is natural life, natural health, free life, peaceful life. And I try to bring that back and share that with us as much as possible. And that's and we need that love. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And
Hey,
then-
so
and
what do
then
you
to all people, we all need love, huh?
talk a little bit about your store?
So basically we do sea moss and a lot of natural products. And in the future we'll be doing like smoothies and stuff like that.
What's your store's name?
Suko.
Suko.
They can reach out to my mom's anytime. she's the runner.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's a good can we find you on social media or
Suko Milan is the Instagram for it. And
how do you spell that?
SUCCO MILAN.
Say it again.
SUCCO MILAN.
Good,
Suko Milan.
Good. Do you have a thought you want to leave with the audience?
The topic again today was
mental health.
Unlocking the mind and body.
Unlocking the mind and
using
body.
naturals.
unlocking the mind and body. So that's a thought that I would leave with the title, Unlocking the Mind and Body, using natural health, natural products, natural herbs. When you cleanse the body, when you cleanse the blood, and in return you get to heal the mind, and then you free the mind, which will free your body.
Very cool. Very cool.
And that's something that we all need.
I dig it. I dig it. Did you want to drop your social media, Dante?
Dante Thomas 359. My handle is God's Plan. Because I believe, like you said, it's all God's plan. You unlock the mind, you unlock the body.
Very cool. Very cool. I dig it. Guys, that is our show. Thank you so much. If you've made it this far, you are the real one. My name is Daniel Irwin. My co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. David Harris.
What's up, people?
And we are